Hello everyone and welcome back to the breakdown. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a bucket server in Minecraft 1.16.1. We have not updated our bucket tutorial in a while. As you can see, 1.14.4 was actually the last time we did that. So we are updating it today to the newest version of Minecraft 1.16.1. We're going to be covering every single step of starting a bucket server. But first, I do want to mention that this is not a 24-hour server. It is only meant for your friends, family, and people you trust. It is also going to be using your own computer's hardware, meaning your computer has to be running in order to run this server. On top of that, you're going to need a decent computer. It's running on your computer's hardware, right? So if you can barely play Minecraft without, lag or without your computer getting really hot and revving up or whatever, if that's the case, you cannot host a server like this because you're not going to be able to host the server and play Minecraft at the same time. It's just not going to work. So you're going to need some decent, more modern hardware in your computer to be able to run a Minecraft server and play Minecraft at the same time. However, what if you do want to, host a server anyway? Or what if you want to host a public server where it's more than just your friends and family? Or what if you do want to host a server for just your friends and family, but you don't want to have to worry about hardware and you want it to be up all the time and not ran on your own computer and on your own network? Well, in that case, you need to go to someone like Apex Minecraft Hosting. You can check out Apex, the first link down below, the breakdown.xyz/Apex, to start a 24-hour server that is not hosted on your own hardware. It doesn't require port forwarding, and it can be a public server if you want it to be, or it can be a private server. That's up to you. And on top of that, it is 100% on Apex's hardware. It is DDoS-Protected. You don't have to worry about any security or anything like that. Apex takes care of all of it. You can check out Apex again, the first link down below, the breakdown.xyz/Apex. We actually love and trust Apex so much that we put our money where our mouth is and host our own server, played.breakdowncraft.com, on Apex Minecraft Hosting. So if you want to check out Apex, again, go to the first link down below, the breakdown.xyz/Apex, to get an incredible 24-hour server set up for you, your friends, your family, anyone that you want to play on the server, and again, in just a few clicks with no port forwarding or anything like that. So there you have it. That's how you can get a bucket server up and running in just a few clicks, very, very simply via Apex Minecraft Hosting. Now, let's go ahead and assume that you're okay with hosting on your own computer, you're okay with it just being for your friends and family, and you're okay with your hardware. You've got good enough computer hardware to be able to run this server. So let's go ahead, if that's the case, and jump into it. The first thing we want to do is actually go to the second link down below, and that's going to take you here. This is our text tutorial on how to make a bucket server. If you scroll down here, this tutorial down here, I updated it before the video. However, up here at the top, this video that you're watching now will be here when you're watching this video, but it's not there yet because, well, how do I put this? I can't put a video there until this video has been released and I'm recording this video. So anyway, long story short, once you're here, all you need to do is scroll down and click on this download bucket button. If we do go too fast here though, and you want to kind of go through it at your own pace, you can go through this text tutorial. It's all up to date and it's all currently working for the most recent version. But all we need to do is click on that yellow download bucket button. It'll take you off here where we want to find the 1.16.1 version here. It's this one at the very, very top currently. And come over here to the right hand side and click on that yellow download button. That'll take us off to here where we want to click on the craft bukkit-1.16.1.jar link. When we click on that, it will download in the bottom left. If you're on Google Chrome, it'll pop up in the server screen. If you're on Mozilla Firefox, on Google Chrome, you need to click keep to keep the file, and on Mozilla Firefox, you want to save it in the server screen. It's 100% safe to save/keep the file. Now we need to go ahead and minimize our browser. And here on my desktop, I have craft bucket here. This is the file we just downloaded. If this isn't on your desktop, no worries. You're going to find it in your downloads folder. To find that, click the little Windows icon's in the top left of my screen, but it could be in the bottom left of your screen. So that little Windows icon in the top or bottom left of your screen, and then just go ahead and type in downloads, right like so. And then have this downloads file folder. Click on that, and in here you will have craft bucket. Go ahead and take craft bucket from your downloads folder and drag it to your desktop just for ease of use. Now on our desktop, we want to go ahead and right click and create a new folder. And you can name this folder whatever you want. I'm going to name it play.breakdowncraft.com. Why am I naming it that? Because that is our own incredible 1.16.1 survival server. We've got grief protected medieval survival with 30 custom quests. We've got grief protected aquatic survival with a /shop based economy. And we have custom skyblock, custom factions. It's incredible. Come play with us. Play.breakdowncraft.com. Over 200 players online every single day. So come play with us. Play.breakdowncraft.com is the IP. Let's go ahead and take craft bucket though and drag it into the new folder we created on our desktop. And when we go ahead and open up this folder, in here we will see craft bucket 1.16.1. So if you've got a folder on your desktop and you open it up, you see craft bucket 1.16.1, we are good to go. But what if this doesn't have like this jar icon here? What if it's a book file? Or what if it's something else? What if it's a zip file? Something like that. What if it doesn't say .jar at the end? Well, if it doesn't say .jar at the end, come up here to where it says view, and then click on file name extensions, right? Just in like your folder here, click on view, and then click on file name extensions, and then the .jar should appear, right? However, if this doesn't have a jar logo or it doesn't look correct, right? Doesn't look like mine does there, what you need to do is go to the description down below and install Java. This is our in-depth tutorial for installing Java for Minecraft servers. We're starting a Minecraft server, a bucket one, but still a Minecraft server, so you need this version of Java to make sure everything is correct. So go here, download this, go to this tutorial, and you'll be good to go. If you do download Java and it's still not working, you may need to run the jar fix. And what the jar fix is going to do here is basically take all the .jar files on your computer and link them to Java once again. Basically make them work together, all perfect and happy and all that stuff. It's going to link the .jar files back to Java, and you'll be good to go. So finally, we can minimize our browser and we can get this server set up. So to do that, you want to go to the description down below and you'll find this. These are different codes, 2 gigabytes, 3 gigabytes, and 4 gigabytes is how much RAM you want on your server. For this, we're going to be using the 4 gigabyte one. So copy from where it says Java to pause. All of these are in the description down below, by the way. These are just codes in the description down below. So go ahead and copy that and then come over here, right click, create a new text document. So we want to right click, create a new text document, and then open up that new text document and paste the code from the description in there. Now, it should start with Java and it should end with pause exactly like that. There shouldn't be any other information in here other than Java and pause right like so. Then go ahead and do File, Save As, and then we want to go ahead and name this run.bat, and then we want to change the save type as to all files. So run.bat and save type as all files, and then go ahead and click save. Now we close out of that, we'll have this run.bat file. Now, if you double click on that, it's not going to work. What we need to do to make that work is take this craft bukkit.jar here, right? See that craft bukkit.jar that we all have in this folder here, right click on it and rename it to simply bukkit and then .jar. Now, if yours doesn't have .jar at the beginning and you don't see .bat here, right? If yours looks like this, then you would just name it bukkit and run. But if you enabled file name extensions, like I told you to earlier in the tutorial, you should be able to just name that bukkit. That's why that was so important to enable those file extensions. That way it looks like mine and you can rename that correctly. Now we go ahead and double click on our run.bat file. It will go ahead and start up after 20 seconds. As you can see, it says the build's outdated, but that's because they're releasing a lot of beta builds right now. It may or may not say that, and if it does, it's perfectly okay. Now, one thing I will mention is if you try to start this and it says object heap or too much of something, that's because you don't have 64-bit Java, and you need to download 64-bit Java in order to do that. Our tutorial can actually walk you through installing 64-bit Java and making sure you get the correct version, so you can go through there, but you might have to uninstall Java before doing that tutorial if you have the wrong one. Now, it does fail here, and as you can see, it tells us why. You need to agree to the ULA in order to run the server. Well, we didn't have the ULA, so we had to double click on that run.bat file, let it fail, and now we have this eula.txt file. So let's go ahead and double click on the eula.txt file and change eula equals false to eula equals true, assuming you agree to this eula right here. Now let's go ahead and do File, Save, and we can go ahead and double click on the run.bat file to go ahead and start the server. This time it will launch up, right? The first time you launch the server, it's always going to fail and say you need to agree to the eula.txt file, and then every time after that, it's going to be successful, assuming you've agreed to the eula text file by changing eula equals false to eula equals true, right like that, in this eula.txt file. So we're going to go ahead and let this start on up. And at this point, you could actually join the server yourself. Like, you could join the server using your local IP address. And I'll show you how to do that because a lot of people are just starting these servers for testing, right? Let's say you have a server on somewhere like Apex Minecraft hosting, and you just want to run plugins and test plugins off of Apex just locally. This is how you can do this, right? So as you can see, we've got this started up here. It's going through, it's creating the spawn worlds and doing all of that stuff. And whenever this is finished, it will say done. Once it says done, we can join the server, right? Pretty simple stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and do a quick jump cut until this is done, and then we'll be good to go. There we go. It now says done, right like so. And that means we can join the server via our local IP. Now, we are the only people that can join like this, but guess what? Even if you do want to port forward, you need your local IP address. So let's go ahead and first off, open up a new notepad document here, right? Because we want to make note of what these IP addresses we're going to get are. And then we want to go to the Windows icon. Again, that's the top left for me, probably bottom left of your screen, but the top bottom left of your screen, click on that Windows icon, type in CMD, and then you'll have command prompt here. Open up command prompt, and in command prompt, what you want to type is ipconfig. ipconfig exactly like that, and hit enter. That's then going to give you a bunch of information. All we need here is our IPv4 address, so we're going to go ahead and copy that over, IPv4, and for me that is 192.168.1.123, right like so. Now yours is most likely completely different, and that's okay. The other number we need is the default gateway. So we want to go ahead and find the default gateway here. On the left-hand side, here it is. In my case, that's 192.168.1.1. Yours may be the same, or it might be completely different from mine. Again, perfectly fine if it is. Now, one thing I will mention here is if you have two default gateways, basically one on this top line and then one on the bottom line, go with the one that's just numbers. There might be one like this right here where it says FE80, F07F. If that's the case, don't go with that one. Go with the one that is just numbers. That's the one you need. Now we can close out of CMD, And we can take this IPv4 address here, copy it, and if we actually open up Minecraft, we'll be able to join our server using this local IP. We're in 1.16.1, latest release, and we're going to join this server. Now, if you want a test server, this is how you can do it. No one else except you can join this Minecraft server here, so make sure that's what you want. If you want people to publicly join your server, you're going to either have to go through Apex or port forward, which I'm going to show you how to do here in a second. Let's go ahead, click on here. If we click on direct connect here, we can paste in that IPv4 address, right? See, it'll be the same IPv4 address that we have back here, and then click join server. Then we'll see it pop up over here. Boom, Nick's Games has joined. Awesome. We are now in game and rocking and rolling. Look at that. We are now on our bucket server. I spawned in some thorn bushes, I think. Okay then. But yeah, we are now on our server. We are rocking and rolling. Awesome. It is working. I don't think there's any denying that. We'll stand here on the cliff because when we join back in later via our public IP, we'll be standing in this exact same spot, and what a beautiful view to spawn into. Let's go ahead and disconnect. And now, if we go ahead and cancel this, go back to our main menu here, we can minimize this and start port forwarding. So the first step of port forwarding is stopping your server. So you need to type stop over here, stop, and hit enter. That's going to shut down the server appropriately, make sure nothing gets corrupted and everything works dandily when it shuts down. Then once it's done, you can just press any key to continue, and it'll close out of that CMD window. Now we want to come over here to the server.properties file and double click on that. Now you may need to open this with Notepad, right? Mine opens with Notepad here automatically. You may need to select Notepad. Once it's open, come down here where it says server-IP equals, and then we're going to take our IPv4 address, right? This one right here. We're just going to copy that, and next to server-IP equals, we're going to paste in that. So it should be server-IP equals, and then whatever your IPv4 address is. In my case, 192.168.1.123, and it's all one string there. Make sure there's no spaces or anything. Then go ahead and save this by file save that file, close out of the server.properties, and the first step of port forwarding is done. Now we want to go ahead and copy our default gateway, right? So copy that default gateway, and then come back to your browser, open up a brand new tab exactly like this, and then go ahead and paste into that brand new tab that default gateway that you found via CMD. Now, it's going to take you to a page that looks most likely very different from what you're seeing on your screen right now, and that's okay. It's okay that this is completely different for you, but don't freak out because we have a solution. We're going to show you how to port forward on all the top routers. It's going to be okay. But one thing that you're going to have, similar to me, is a login screen. You're going to have some sort of a login box. As you can see, here is mine. Yours may pop in from the top, maybe in the center of your screen, maybe in the bottom of your screen. You're going to have some sort of login box. What do you enter in here? Well, you enter in your router's password and username, and you can find that at the link in the description down below. When you click on that, it's going to take you here, and then you'll be able to see 5 different methods to find your router username and password. Start with method 1, works with method 5. Most people find it by method 3 though, and then you'll be good to go, right? You'll be logged into your router and be able to port forward. So if I go ahead and log in to the router, right like so, boom, it's going to log us right on in. And once we have logged in, we will be able to kind of see what the inside of our router looks like here. And by that, I mean the software that controls the router looks like here. And again, yours is probably going to look completely different from mine, and that's okay because we have this tutorial linked in the description down below on how to port forward on any router. This is going to show you how to port forward on the top routers today: AT&T, Verizon, Netgear, Linksys, TP-Link. All of them are included in this video, and even if your specific router isn't included, we still recommend watching this video and going through it, because a lot of these routers use the same back-end software, just rebranded and maybe a few different, visual cosmetic things changed. Overall, it's going to be very, very similar and pretty much the exact same as to what you have on your router, because there's only a few different types of software out there. Also, on top of that, even if we don't have your exact router, you're going to learn all the different terms that port forwarding can have, and that's really, really powerful. So go check that out in the description down below. Watch this video, then come back and log into your router, and it's time to port forward. Now, for me, it is in security. For you, it may be in advanced. It could be in advanced. It could be in the admin tab. It could be in the security tab. It could be in the apps and gaming tab. It could be in the NAT forwarding, NAT forwarding, or it could be NAT gaming, NAT gaming. It could be in port forwarding / port triggering. For me, again, it's in security. Then it's in apps and gaming. Look at that. Said it could be in apps and gaming. For me, it's in security. Then it's in apps and gaming. And then finally, it is in single port forwarding, right? So you can see how in-depth you might have to get there, but don't be afraid to click around on your router. Just keep clicking around. Your router is going to have it if you've logged in there. Pretty much every router has port forwarding. And don't be afraid to break something. As long as you don't save any changes, unless it's to do with port forwarding, you're not going to break anything whatsoever in your router, so don't worry about that. So just click around until you find port forwarding of some type. Once you're here, For me, I have to click add a new single port forward. For you, you may have a big list, similar to this right here, right? This big list, something like that. If that's the case, just enter in the first one and then save. That's fine. However, for me, I have to click add a new single port forward. And then for the name or ID, we're going to go ahead and put Minecraft. For anything involving the word port, if it says the word port, P-O-R-T, in any way, you want to put 25565. So external port, there's the word port, 25565. Internal ports, guess what? That word port's there again. We're going to do 25565. Now for protocol, we want to select both, or you want to select TCP/UDP or UDP/TCP. Either way, you want to make sure both protocols are selected. If you don't have the option to select both, do this twice. Do the port forward 2 times, once for TCP and once for UDP. But anyway, we want to make sure both are selected in some way. Now for device IP, this is going to be our IPv4 address. You may not have a device IP. You might just have a drop-down box of all the different devices connected to your network and connected to your internet. In that case, what you want to do is select the computer you're starting the server on. So just select that and you'll be good to go. Now for device IP for me though, that's going to be the IPv4 address. So in our case, 192.168.1.123. So if you are asked for a device IP or a local IP, you're going to enter in your IPv4 address. If you are asked for a drop-down box or whatever of all the devices on your network, select your computer. Now, there's one more thing you might be asked for in a port forward, right? And that is going to be a public or external IP. Now, I would say probably only 5% of routers ask for this, but everyone watching this video needs their public IP address. The reason for this is your public IP address is how your friends are going to join your server. So we want to go to the description down below to the What's My IP link in the description there, and you'll be taken to this. This is our website where you can find your IP address. Now, as you can see, mine is listed right here. You can only see these last 3 digits because you don't want to give this out to anybody and everybody, right? This is how people can DDoS your internet. This is how people can figure out where you live. As you can see, this is all the information someone can get from your public IP. That's why this server is only meant for people you trust, your friends and your family, basically people you would invite over to your house, right? So that's why you want to go through Apex if you are, wanting to host a public server. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and copy that IP address there. If you need that in your port forward, come back over here and paste it. Otherwise, save your port forward, apply, okay. Anything that needs to be done to make sure that port forward is saved, and then we can minimize our browser. And this time, we want to go ahead and start our server. Once our server is started up, we are port forwarded. We are done. So we can go ahead, click on multiplayer, click on direct connect. This time, we don't want to connect to this local IP address here. We want to connect to the public IP address. As you can see, the 129 is still there. The rest of it is blacked out, so you all, again, can't see any of the other information. That 129 isn't very special, but it is enough to know that I'm not doing any fakery or anything. We're using the same IP here that we were using back on the website when we found the public IP. And then we're waiting for the server to start up. Once the server has started up, we will be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and do a quick jump cut until we see that little done over here on the server on the left, and then we'll join, and we'll be good to go. There we go. We now see that done. As you can see, the server is set up. We have that done there, and we can go ahead and join the server. Again, you can see 129 there. The rest blacked out. Join server, and it will take us right on in game, right into that beautiful view that we left with before. Let's crank this render distance up to 32. Get this rocking and rolling. But beautiful, beautiful look there. I love that. So there you have it. That is how you can create a Bukkit server. Now, you might be wondering how to add plugins to your server. Well, in the description down below, we have a link on how to add plugins to your server. It's the same way you have a Paper, Spigot, or Bukkit server, so that is all covered in one video, linked in the description down below. It's just going to show up on the top of your screen, like on your screen right now, or maybe in the next few seconds. In the last 20 seconds of the video, it'll be there. It'll show up and show the how to add plugins to your server, video on the screen that you can click on. But otherwise, I want to talk about, just for a second, some of the issues you may have. Now, the biggest issue you're going to have, or could have, is people not being able to join via your public IP. Well, if you can't join via your public IP, that's fine. Some ISPs, right, internet service providers, do not allow you to connect to your own public IP address. That's okay, because you can connect to your local IP, and then your friends can use your public IP. Problem solved. No big deal there. However, if your friends can't join off of your public IP, what you need to do is make sure that your port forward is correct. And if you confirm that your port forward is correct, you need to make sure that Windows Defender or a firewall on your computer isn't blocking connections to Java/Minecraft. I've got a video coming up on this very, very soon, but for now, just join how to enable Minecraft in Windows Defender, and you should be able to find the results you need. But until then, now there could also be a firewall on your router causing issues, so don't be afraid to look there either. So it's either going to be a firewall on your computer or a firewall on your router blocking those connections, assuming your friends can't join off of your public IP and your port forward is correct. For those of you that are curious, here's the seed over here. Boom. There is the seed right there. 777. I'm not going to read that out, but there it is. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more awesome content every single day of the week. My name is Nick. This has been The Breakdown. Come play with us on play.breakdowncraft.com, the best Minecraft server in the multiverse. We have incredible grief-protected survival, medieval survival with 30 custom quests, and a player-based economy, and aquatic survival with a /shop-based economy. We also have a custom skyblock and incredible factions that just got reset with just an incredible F-top competitive-based factions community. So come play with us. Play.breakdowncraft.com is the IP, and I cannot wait to see you online. Nevertheless, my name is Nick. This has been The Breakdown, and I'm out. Peace.